The town of Whitford was a place where the sea and fog met in a strange, unnerving dance. Every October the mist would roll in heavier and thicker, curling around Whitford Point like a silken shroud. Eliza Thorpe, the town's young historian, found herself drawn to the legend of the Specter of Whitford Point, a ghostly figure believed to haunt the cliffs. Skeptical but intrigued, she set out on Halloween night, determined to disprove the tale. As she walked, the ground grew soft beneath her boots, the dampness clinging to the earth and pressing into the air around her. The fog seemed almost alive, drifting around her in dense spectral waves, veiling her flashlight's narrow beam. The cliffs were quiet, blanketed by an unnatural silence that felt heavy and watchful. Eliza pushed forward, feeling her heart quicken as she approached the cliff's edge, the sea churning far below, hidden beneath the thick grey. She had heard countless retellings of the tale. Samuel Devon, a sailor from a century past, had perished here, his ship dashed against the rocks in a furious storm. Since that night, it was said, he wandered the cliffs each Halloween, bound to the land by some unsatisfied yearning. The locals claimed to hear the tolling of a ship's bell in the mist, and that on the rarest of nights Samuel himself would appear, his hollow gaze fixed on the endless sea. The fog grew thicker as Eliza neared the cliff's edge, swallowing the faint light of the town's distant lighthouse. She pressed on, brushing aside her fear, which clung to her like the mist itself. Then, through the silence, a sound emerged, a soft, rhythmic toll, faint but growing stronger, like a bell carried on the wind. Her heartbeat quickened, the sound stirring something deep within her, an eerie pull she could neither explain nor resist. And then, there he was. Emerging from the dense fog was the shadowy figure of a man, his outline faint but unmistakable. Tall and gaunt, he drifted closer, his face obscured by shadows, but his hollow eyes caught what little light remained. They were dark and bottomless, fixed on the horizon as though he could see something far beyond her understanding. He moved slowly with a grace that seemed impossible, his footsteps light and soundless, more apparition than man. Eliza was rooted in place, her limbs frozen by a fear that ran deeper than any she had ever known. She watched, transfixed, as he lifted his hand, his fingers nearly brushing her cheek, as if he were trying to touch something he'd lost. She felt his sadness wash over her like a wave, a sorrow so profound it seemed to bind him to the cliffs, tethering his spirit to this endless, mist-shrouded search. The tolling of the invisible bell grew louder, reverberating through the fog as his hand lingered near her face. Her skin prickled with cold as his form began to waver, his outline blurring as if the mist were pulling him back, reclaiming him. Slowly he faded, his eyes fixed on hers until at last he was gone. Eliza stood alone, the fog thickening once more, enveloping her in its depths. She had come to Whitford Point to disprove a ghost story, but she returned with the knowledge that he was real, a spirit bound by the fog, forever wandering the cliffs, searching for something lost. And every Halloween, as the fog rolls in over Whitford, she feels the weight of his gaze, the haunting presence of Samuel Devon, still wandering, still waiting.